Good day, everyone. Before I start, I would like to say thank you to UP Asian Studies for this opportunity, and I'm honored to be here and happy to share my research with you today. And my paper is titled Nihon no Kirisutokyō, Narratives of Religious Encounters of Filipino Christians in Japan. So, why religion? This is often being asked to me by my friends, classmates, um, teachers, because religion is often being misunderstood by many people. Perhaps this has something to do about how people see or describe religion in their own way. And for me, there's a need to address this issue to minimize or prevent misconceptions, especially that there are lots of religions nowadays. And providing information or description will give proper knowledge about religion, not just in a theological aspect, but also in a sociological perspective or anthropological approach. And in this way, we could also provide a better understanding when it comes to religion. And this is also the aim of the study, to provide also explanation about this phenomenon that is happening, particularly in relation to religion. So before we start, let's just also ask about what is religion. So there are lots of definitions of religion, but I'll just go with the sociological or anthropological definition for this one, since I'm also focusing with sociology or the anthropology of religion. So religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices relative to sacred things, beliefs and practices which unite in moral community called a church. And religion is a cultural activity that is linked with the creation and maintenance of certain kinds of self-conceptions. So, yeah, like I said, there are lots of religions nowadays. Some are still being practiced, and some remain as a minority group. And I focus more on Christianity because, Christianity has many variations depending on the interpretation of the Christian groups to the Holy Bible. And as we know, despite of the variations, Christianity still has the most number of followers among other religions, and it is also most widespread religion globally. So if you can see here, Christian are the largest religions group. This is based on the 2015 survey, and also. This is a global projection of Christianity in 2015 and 2060. So as you can see here in the US or in the West, or in the US, it has the most number of Christian, and in Asia, we can also see here that Philippines has the most number of Christian population. So Christianity in the Philippines. So I'll just make a quick history for this one. So it started when the Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan arrived in the Philippines in 1521, and Magellan met Humabon and embraced Christianity. And Lapu-Lapu refused to acknowledge the Spanish sovereignty and convert to Christianity, which also led to Magellan's death. But with the arrival of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi in 1565, Christianity spread out. And the importance of religion is still significant for many Filipinos, because according to the survey conducted by Social Weather Stations last November 21 to 25 or 25 2020, it says that there are 73% say that religion is important, 15% say not at all important, 9% say religion is somewhat important, and 3% say religion is not very important. So this only shows that Filipinos still value religion. And in times of crisis like what we're experiencing right now, like the COVID-19, so the national government declared the 4th of March 20 as a national week of prayer. And this is just to urge all Filipinos of all faiths and religion backgrounds to unite in prayer in response to the crisis that faced by the nation. And this act only shows how religious the Filipinos are, and also by utilizing religion in times of crisis, and also a promotion of solidarity. So why Japan? Same or because same with the Philippines, Japan has a long history of Christianity. So Christianity in Japan entered in 16th century when Catholicism was introduced in 1549, led by Francis Xavier, and Catholicism reached by martyrdom of Manteo Kunashi. This is in 1644, which is also known as the Kirishtan period or the Christian period. In 1587, Toyotomi Hideyoshi ordered banning the missionaries from other countries coming to Japan, and most of these missionaries are actually coming from the Philippines as well. And in 1597, Hideyoshi ordered the execution of 26 Christians in Nagasaki. This is also known as the martyrdom of the 26 Japanese saints. And the oppression of Christian continued in the succeeding Tokugawa shogunate and strongly barred the propagation of Christianity in Japan. So there are few Christians who survived and continued their religious practice, and they were known as the Kakure Christian or the hidden Christians. And the prohibition was withdrawn in 1873 following the Meiji Restoration. So for the case of Kakure Christian, this is just only shows that the Japanese people or Japanese also value Christianity during this period. And according to the report of the Agency for Cultural Affairs, as of December 29, there are 48.6 is Shinto. Shinto, as we know, it's the oldest religion in Japan, followed by 46.3, which is Buddhist, 1% for Christian, and 4% for other religious groups like Islam. So as we can see, 1% for Christianity. So this is actually considered as minority group. But despite this one, yeah, Christian customs are becoming popular in Japan, like Christian wedding, also practicing Christmas, and many more. And also some sites are becoming popular and on the verge of attaining UNESCO World Heritage status. So this is one example. This is the Ora Church, and this is also considered the oldest standing Christian church in Japan. And this is also to honor the 26 martyrs of Japan. And this is located in Nagasaki. So for the methods, I actually asked from my friends on Facebook if they have also family members or friends working or living in Japan. And for this study, this is a phenomenology approach was used for this one to examine the lived experiences of the study participants. The study participants were gathered and interviewed using online platform because I'm just also utilizing the availability of the social media and stuff like that. And for limitations, since I only have limited time and resources for this one, so I only gathered 3 study participants for this research study. And for the study participants, they were chosen according to their social demographic profile, which includes their age, occupation, religious affiliation, residence, and also the total years of residency in Japan. This is also their social demographic profile was categorized to provide information on their religious practices and faith in different environments. And for the data, so I just also focus more on the encounters, especially with their practices, encounters in times of crisis, and also as a minority believer. This is to examine the importance and the role of religion in another country. So for this one, for the encounters and practices, so I'll just summarize for this one. So I just asked them how often do they practice their religion, and all respondents said that they always pray. And for the Japanese also go to temple, but only if there are holiday, like for example Hatsumode. And for other encounters, one respondent also mentioned about the before they eat, they also say itadakimasu, but I think this is just like a form of thanking the farmers and like that. But we can also categorize this one as a what we call a ritual. And also the use of omamori. I think somewhat this is related to what we have as the rosary. In times of crisis. So yeah, I also asked them how they utilize religion in times of crisis, and all respondents said that they pray in times of crisis, especially also by using communication technology to continue practicing their religion. We have the availability now using Facebook Live and like that. And for the Japanese, yeah, they tend to be responsive in a way for survival. They also utilize the use of communication technology, and there's also the creation of solidarity among people of the community or the society. For as the minority believer, so yeah, same. All respondents said that they never encounter discrimination or difficulties while practicing their religion. In fact, most Japanese people, or they actually have an idea on Christianity. Perhaps for comparison, we Filipinos celebrate Christmas particularly for family, but for the Japanese, Christmas is for couples. And for example, if we have ham on Christmas Eve, for the Japanese, they prefer to eat fried chicken. So this example shows that we have different ways of celebrating, particularly Christmas. And if we continue this practice, and it will become part of our culture. So for this one, for religious practices, this is just like also for the result. So Filipinos adhere to their religion in any circumstances by performing their rituals. Religion also plays an essential role in religiosity and mobilization, and they will continue to perform their tasks in any given circumstances. For the Japanese, religion is also significantly important to them by doing their rituals and practicing their traditions, like the Hatsumode every New Year, like that, and many other holidays or traditions. And speaking of rituals, so the primary phenomenon of religion is ritual, and ritual is religion in action and is the cutting edge of the two. In times of crisis, religion is significantly important for the Filipinos as it also being used as a coping mechanism. Though Japanese adhere to the government in times of crisis, it is also evident that using communication technology helped them unite with one another. And during the crisis as well, so all members of the community encounter the same social status, which also an ultimate vision of every culture. As a religious minority, so yes, Filipinos still able to practice their religion without any form of discrimination, which is, I would say, a good way or a good information for that one. And this encounter will also test their relationship with their God when they are in different environment. And every culture has its prohibitions and avoidances, particularly in religion. And these prohibitions and avoidance will set limitations to avoid conflicts that may happen in any environment. So basically, as we know, as we can also identify from the previous slides, that yeah, the significance or the role of religion in the Philippines and Japan has also led us to the similarities and like that. But for this one, for Filipinos and Japanese, the practices for Filipinos is regular, while for the Japanese is occasional. Whereas for in times of crisis, for the Filipinos, religion is very important, whereas for the Japanese, it's personal. For religious views, it's sacred for the Filipinos and secular for the Japanese. So for conclusion for this one, religion is very important for Filipinos as we continue or Filipinos continue practicing their rituals in any given situation. Ritual is a passage of communicating with other members of society to sustain solidarity. Though religion is not that significant for some Japanese, it is still evident that religion maintains their culture, tradition, and identity. Understanding traditions and other rituals will help to avoid misconceptions and conflict with other cultures. So, given the significance of Christianity both in Philippines and Japan, it is substantial that to look into possibilities that we build or building good relationship with other nations through religion. So that's it. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or clarifications or collaborations, you can also email me. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat. Arigatou gozaimasu.